Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live Q&A. My name is Hisham. I'm a postgraduate student here at the University of Gloucestershire, studying communications, media and PR. And I'm here with Molly James. Hi, Molly.
Hi.
Molly, if we can start off kind of like doing the classic icebreaker thing, introduce who you are and what your job title is at the university.
Hi, so I'm Molly. I'm the UK Student Recruitment Manager for undergraduate student recruitment here at University of Gloucestershire.
Amazing. So Molly's kind of in charge of helping undergraduate applicants and undergraduate students basically make the right decision, which if that's coming to the Uni of Glos, it's coming to the Uni of Glos, or deciding that they want to go to another university. There are so many recruitment officers around the country that help young people decide what is their next step in their future. This is why we're here today. We're talking to parents and carers or guardians or anyone who knows someone who's applying to university, and we're going to discuss about how you can support them. Applying to university is a big decision and it's a long process for some people. So yeah, we'll kind of dive in straight away. I think the big question that everyone is asking themselves in 2023 is, why should I go to university? Obviously, there is a lot of kind of uh, negative stories about cost of living, about what university is like. So I kind of want to ask you, from someone that helps students go to uni every year, why should young people consider going to university?
Yeah, so obviously it's a big question, but yeah, so I would say that if you are considering it, you just really need to think about what you want from your
Hmm.
future. So even if you're someone who doesn't know what you want, university can really help you, because if you have a subject or something that you're really passionate about, you can go to university, you can feed that passion, you can gain loads of skills. So analytical skills, presenting skills, teamwork skills, problem solving skills, while you're feeding your passion. And then along the way, you might have a part time job or a work placement, which gives you a bit more idea of what you want from the workplace. And then when you come out, you've done something really rewarding, and you also
Hmm.
maybe have hopefully got a bit more of an idea of where you want to go. So if you're someone who's not sure about what you want to do, it's a great thing to throw yourself into. And then from the other side of it, if you're someone that really knows what you want to do, you can do a vocational course, which gives you all that specific knowledge while you're working. You might be able to use, like the institution's industry links that they've got to do
Hmm.
some great work experience. And find out even more about what you want to specialize in, and then you can literally see your vision coming to life and graduate career ready. So even if whether you're someone who knows what you want to do or doesn't know, so it's just about thinking what you want from your future. And I know, obviously, it's a massive, massive investment, probably like the second biggest investment you'll make in your life. But we know from the evidence that on average, graduates do earn more. So, it's something that can have a massive impact on your life. Um, can I talk about also, because it's not just about career,
Oh
like
yeah, 100%.
you will, you might be moving across the country, living somewhere completely different. You might meet people that are completely different to you. That element of like broadening your horizons, and discovering a new place, if that's the kind, if that's the way you want to go, meeting people that are so different and learning from them. So it's just about that journey of like discovering yourself at such an important time in your life. Um, and yeah, to me, it's a priceless investment, really.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely discussed it to anyone that is watching. If you've seen our Behind the Uni podcast, myself, and students that we've had on the podcast always say that obviously you get an education and you have a great time with your cohort and your lecturers, but also it's everything outside of lectures that actually make university the university experience. And you leave uni with like such a wealth of like life knowledge, like people call it becoming street smart and knowing what you want. Because it's not, for some people it's obviously very career focused, but for some others it's about finding themselves, finding out what they like in the workplace, what they don't like. And I guess we kind of mentioned it just now, like the idea of like experimenting while you're at university, what you're at university. So for someone who might be hesitant about going to university, specifically at the University of Gloucestershire, what do you think is kind of the most important thing that we do that supports young students, especially undergraduate students?
So I do think genuinely, like, we're a university where the student is at the heart of everything that we do. So we have different things. We have an app which will be like your go-to. So when you start, your induction will be on there, everything you need to know about timetables and where to go. But it also will have like the health and well-being page, which can give you anything from like self-help apps to signpost you for financial support or any kind of support you need. Then we also have something called a help zone on every campus. So if you have a question, whether it's big or small, you can literally just go and talk to an actual person straight away on campus, sorry, within opening hours,
Yeah.
and get your question answered. And yeah, so we're also, I think, we also do a personal tutor program so that everybody gets a personal tutor who will be their point of contact. That might not even necessarily be a lecturer that does your subject, but yeah,
Which
there'll be someone who.
I think it's very unique. Like I've definitely had conversations with students from other universities. Something that I love about UOG, specifically being like an undergrad student and now a postgrad student, is that personal lecture, like that connection. I always talk about how when I was an undergrad, my personal tutor was more like a therapist. So I would literally go to them and be like assignments aside, here is what's happening in my personal life, help, kind of thing. And
Amazing.
I felt really comfortable to actually share that information with them because I was studying journalism, so I was actually my personal tutor. His name was Paul. He was able to kind of help me draw up experiences from my personal life and implement it into my uni work. And I think I think it's really really cool to have that kind of trust between lecturers and students. So yeah, I definitely want to like repeat what you've said about like the students is at the heart of everything because I definitely feel like I see that all the time.
That's so
Um,
great to hear. Yeah, those relationships are so important, and yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, and even like as a postgrad student, like I work full time and study part time, and had this like anxiety of like, oh, will I be missing out on extra like revision sessions or work sessions? But no, I'm still kept in the loop through the MyGloss app. So like I know what's happening around campus at all times. I guess that kind of leads me nicely. I love a good segue from obviously us supporting applicants to what we're talking about today is how people who have young students in their life who are applying to university and how they could support them. In your opinion, as a professional who works in recruitment, if you had a parent or a carer or a guardian come to you on open day and said, hey, I really want to support so and so through the application process, what can I do? What's the first thing that you'll tell them?
So I think the most important thing to think about is what they want. So what do they want out of their future? What makes them happy? What do they want? What's their ambition going to be? So they really need to take the time to think about that. And then
Hmm.
all the things that sit behind that are, do they want to go to a big city and have that exciting, like be one of thousands experience, or do they want to go to somewhere where the lecturers are going to know them on a personal level, like where the lecturers are going to know their name, where they'll be able to go and speak to them one on one whenever they want, like those kind of things. What do they want? Do they want a university where the accommodation is right on campus, so it's easy and they can roll out of bed, or do they want something where there's a bit of separation? Because everybody is so different, so it's just really important to get them to think about it from the beginning and
Yeah.
think about what they actually want to get from it, and that will be the way that they get the most out of it. And the second thing I would say is you've got nothing to lose. Like this application process, there's no harm in applying. If you're on the fence and you're not sure, 100% just go for it. Like just throw yourself into it, and you can
Yeah.
always, change your mind at a later date. But if you're not sure, there's no harm in applying for it now. Yeah.
I think that's great because obviously there's a lot of anxiety around going to university. Obviously, when you're doing like A levels or T levels or B techs, like you're really worried about like that jump or the idea of like, oh, can I leave home? Can I go and live somewhere else? Um, I guess this one kind of for anyone who is taking care of someone who's an applicant or knows someone who's an applicant, what can they do to help ease the transition between what I call like further education, so like sixth form, BTECs, kind of life to student life, being independent, finding that freedom for the first time. What can they do to help them make that transition easier?
I think it's really about empowerment. So to really give them the tools to then go on and be independent and start building that confidence. And so, help them learn how to budget, think about money, think about, are they definitely, not going to get an overdraft? Do they want to look at getting an overdraft? Things like that. Sorting out how do they sort out their student finance, rather than doing things for them, but really empower them. So if you are at an open day, get them to think about it before, like what questions do they want to ask? Even beforehand, they can write them down, whatever, and then they can ask those questions when they're there. And that's the beginning of that journey where they're going to start to become independent.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important because you can easily, as a supporter, help someone be like, oh, you need to apply for your student finance. Let's sit down, let me do it for you. But then again, when the student is at university, maybe wants to check when the payment is coming in, how much they're going to pay later on, they actually might not know how to log in. So actually, I love the idea of like empower them to do it themselves. I think that's a really, really great way of great advice. And then maybe if you like fast forward a little bit, okay, so we're recording this a week today is the UCAS deadline. So post UCAS deadline, obviously, hopefully everyone is watching, you've submitted an application, I hope you have. But there is a big gap, obviously, between starting university and applying. So there's like a massive, I think it's like 7 months or 8 months. So what can they do in the meantime to kind of stay in touch with the university, make sure that they're making the most out of that time between application, drop in, and starting university or results day?
So we've got what we call offer holder days,
Mm.
which are events. Even if you've been to an open day already and you think you know what you want, these are such important events to go to. They'll be really different from an open day. They'll be bespoke. You'll go to course taster sessions where they're interactive. You might be in a class with people who you're going to be in class with if you joined us.
Mm-hmm.
I have people that I know who are still friends with the people that they were at their offer holder day with, which I really like.
That's really awesome.
And you'll be taught by people who could be your future lecturers. You're just going to get such a good feel for whether it's the right fit for you. And get so much out of that. You'll be able to talk to other students who are doing that subject and get that real peer-to-peer advice, ask about the town and what you can do, all those type of things, and just make sure that it's the right decision for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice because it's a really big gap. So kind of figuring out that I think at that time, obviously focusing on exams and coursework in further education is important, but also it's about kind of figuring out, okay, what is my life going to look like? I remember certainly I've discussed this in videos before and on our university podcast, is that I was one of those people that was fiercely over prepared for university. I watched every vlog that there could be about Uni of Glos before I came here, every video. So I knew exactly what life was like. But I had friends who didn't, and they wish they would have gone to like an offer holder day to kind of get a taste of what being a student here is like, what are the processes of submitting assignments, or even the process of actually how to interact with lecturers. Because throughout school, you say miss and sir, and then you kind of become a little bit more casual in sixth form. But I think the best thing about university is that there are no kind of like etiquette of being a student here. Obviously, be nice and be decent towards the lecturers, but then you obviously have a really good connection for them. So I think, I mean, I'm going to echo what you're saying. Offer holidays are a great way of kind of figuring out exactly what is the next step, what do I want to do. And I guess, is there anything that you think is really, really important that supporters should be doing in the process of applying or after applying that you think could make it easier or ease the anxiety of applying to university?
Just kind of reiterating what I've said already, but I think the key things are, being that ear, like, and maybe asking those kind of open questions rather than leading, so that you empower that person to think about what do they really want, what's going to make them happy, and what they want out of their future. Because, like we talked about, it's a massive investment. And also from another angle, if you're worried about student finance and the debt that can come come with it, it's a really good way to talk to them about how it's not necessarily a debt, it's a tax,
Hmm.
because this is an investment in your future. So you can kind of be that ear for them if they're worried about things like that, because obviously there is the cost of living crisis and stuff like that. So I can imagine people are worried about that. So there's a discussion behind that. And then again, like I said, thinking about those tools, so helping them to find out how to budget if they need that help. Everybody's different. So, but yeah, the main thing I would say is just getting them to think about what they want, because they might have preconceived ideas if they haven't properly thought about it as a massive future element. If
Hmm.
it's just about, oh, what am I going to study? Am I going to study English? But really, like, what do they want to get out of that experience? Because it's so much more than just a subject or a course.
Oh, I love that. I think like I think that could be implemented in so many aspects of life is just kind of like figure out your future, maybe like make like a vision board or something, go on Pinterest, put together some images. But I think that's really, really cool. Well, Molly, thank you so much for kind of taking the time out of your day to speak to us. So yeah, my name is Hisham. I'm a master student here. And if you're watching, if you're a student or a supporter of anyone who's applying to university and you have any questions about applying, accommodation, money matters, money problems, feel free to DM us on wherever you're watching this. If it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're at Uni of Glos on all platforms. One of our social media teams will be in touch and we'll put you in touch with the right team to further give you guidance on the topic. But yeah, Molly, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Fab.
Bye.